And I'm gonna love you right back. Because Drew, you will always be my favorite number 2.
What's going on, YouTube? It's Sensei, a place to be. Children, Mr. Andy back with another Smackdown review. This is Friday Night Smackdown from November 20th, 2020, and we are the go-home show, the final show before Survivor Series. I understand that it is a COVID outbreak, stuff that's going on like this, so we can't do the whole Raw. Cause I did mention on my Raw review that I missed that if they're going to do Raw and Smackdown, like how Shammy did the Under Siege thing, and I was just like, that's a little bit ignorant to think, because I was just like, okay, well, they really probably don't want to switch superstars to get everybody sick. So, you know, a little selfish on my part, because I just hate when the Survivor Series so poorly booked, you know, say that to the point where it's like, okay, well, at least we can get the Raw SmackDown brawling type stuff like that. We couldn't even get that this year. So I'm just like, oh, well, we got to rely on The Undertaker, don't we? Speaking of The Undertaker, the New Day make their way out to the ring, and they are giving tributes to The Undertaker as well as doing his little sit-down and doing his little zombie sit-up. But then Sami Zayn comes out. He's tired of hearing about it. So does King Corbin. There are some jokes passed back and forth between them. Then Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode come out. We see where this is going. That's why I'm not even going to take time to go over the whole promos with anybody. And then the Street Profits come out. They start brawl. 8-man tag team match player. So we get the New Day and the Street Profits taking on Sami Zayn, King Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Bobby Roode. And let me tell you something right now. The match is all right. I mean, but right now this is mostly a match to show off. The Street Profits are trying to basically show off against the New Day and vice versa. But Montez hits the huge frog splash on Sami Zayn for the win here, and both teams hold their championship belts. I think this is going to be a good matchup. By the way, I did miss this one. Big E was, Montez and Angel Dawkins were in the back, talk about the Undertaker, and Big E came up with the Undertaker hat on and everything like that. And, basically was doing the same thing he's been doing, but hype up the New Day and, Street Profits. So which one's he going to be with, Team SmackDown or the New Day? And there's no question to me, you be with the New Day. SmackDown ain't done nothing for you right now, especially after what's going on tonight. But I will get to that. Trust me, I will get to that. So backstage, Adam Pearce is talking to somebody off camera, talking about something. I wanted to pick you for this Survivor Series team because you had a kind of like a tumultuous year. You've been down, then you came back up, and I figured you have a good story to tell. And they pan over. It's Otis. Okay, and Otis and Gable comes and says, "Hey, did you get qualified?" And he says, "Yeah." So Otis is not part of Team SmackDown, which Natalya comes in and says, "Wait a minute." And she makes a good point. Wait a minute. You're telling me Otis don't have to qualify, but I have been sitting here in triple threat matches out the ass, and I haven't had to qualify. And now you're telling me that I have to qualify for the match. I have a match against Tamina. I had to qualify for that. And he said, yeah, because it was 2 spots left, but now it's only 1 because he put Bayley on there, and without having to qualify neither. And I'm just like, Bayley should be on the team in the first week because she's not doing anything. But this is the piss poor storytelling that they're doing for Survivor Series. And on top of that, this also shows that when it comes to the big pay-per-views, or what they consider is big, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, these things need about a good month and change build to make anything kind of credible or anything. And like I said, everybody talks about, I'm not going to be a dead horse, but, Survivor Series needs something credible on the line, and it has nothing. But this has been one of the most quickest, worst booked Survivor Series, other than the Undertaker stuff, that I know. They got some good matches going to happen, but that's just by default of them being champion. But nothing has really truly have been booked strongly enough to the point where it's like, I'm actually excited to see the Survivor Series. The last time I was excited to see Survivor Series was 2017, and that was AJ versus Brock, New Day versus Shield, team with Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon represented Raw and SmackDown. They had both teams had all-star teams. Okay, that right there was the last Survivor Series I was into. Okay, and they can't even do that shit right. But anyway, my focus is on Big E should have been part of this team. Okay, Big E came off a great Falls Count Anywhere match with Sheamus, and on SmackDown they took him away from the New Day. Fine, if y'all gonna take Big E away from the New Day, stop having them talk about New Day. Okay, yeah, New Day come on SmackDown, they didn't even interact with each other, which you think would have happened, and y'all not doing anything with him. Y'all could have put him in matches, build him up. If y'all didn't want to do that, Survivor Series is where you can do it and put him on Team SmackDown and let him be the sole survivor. But they put Otis on there. I'm like, okay, Otis had a decent year, but Otis ain't a top guy. He has never was a top guy. The Money in the Bank thing was a joke. It was something to surprise everybody. Otis should never won it in the first place. Okay, as soon as Otis won, I said, okay, it was a surprise thing for Money in the Bank to get people talking. But right now, give it about a month. I probably about 4 or 5 months late, but they're going to find a way to get it off of him. And now they got it on The Miz because it's Otis, and he lost Mandy Rose. He lost Tucker, which he shouldn't have. The whole tag team thing shouldn't have happened. Heavy machinery should still be a thing, okay? Now, Otis is part of this team. I am less interested in seeing the Survivor Series matchup now because Team SmackDown, not saying that the Survivor Series teams have to have chemistry, but they just have no connection whatsoever to the point where it's just like by kayfabe things, they should lose hands down. Hands down, they should lose, and it's upsetting that Big E did not make that team, and I understand why. I was kind of hoping that somebody probably attacks Otis and then Big E takes the team. But I'm like, why? And all of a sudden we're not focused on Big E anymore. So now we got Natalya versus Tamina. Bianca Belair's on commentary. Then Bayley comes out on commentary. She makes Tamina tap out with the sharpshooter. Ain't nothing glorified, ain't nothing great about it. Now Natalya makes a team, so that's the full SmackDown team. SmackDown should really sweep the Raw Women's team, to be honest with you, but it's probably not going to. It probably should have because Bianca Belair's on there, but I'm not sure how this thing is going to be booked. But there's your team SmackDown right there. It is now time for the contract signing between Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. I'm like, okay, this is the first time we did this, but since it's supposed to be a big blockbuster type matchup, I guess they wanted to bring a contract signing in this. One thing I liked about the contract signing is that usually contract signing, people sit face to face with each other. Roman sits at the head of the table. I was like, those little details for like big wrestling fans like myself who watch this for years, like you take note on that. And I'm like, he's the head of the table. He will always sit at the head of the table. And I'm like, I like that little touch thing like that, but also Drew McIntyre also is like, he did great in his promo also, to the point where Roman was just like, look, man, I knew it was going to be you. I wanted it to be you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're great and stuff like that. And Roman was kind of like up talking Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre signs a contract and he says, but let me give you a word of advice, Roman. He said, please underestimate me. Like, I love when Drew McIntyre says that these two have come so far since 2019. These two have come so far since the rivalry from late 2018 to 2019, and I think the roles are much better now with the face Drew McIntyre and the heel Roman Reigns. And then Roman's like, you're trying to offer me advice? You're trying to offer me, this is my show. You came to my show, you know, I'm the champion, you can offer me advice? And he says, but look, I'm not mad. I'm happy, and I have to say you have always been my favorite number 2. And gets up, and Drew is staring him down. So this is going to be a really good matchup, like to the point where like this has some legit build to it. So then if it was for something, it really could be something, to be honest with you. But I don't think it's going to come of it. Maybe unless Miz tries to cash it in because it's a 10-year anniversary. But he probably did it on Randy Orton. But since Orton's not the champion no more, they're not going to go that way. So who knows what the hell is going to happen? You know what I'm saying? But I am excited to see this matchup. I am. Next up is Murphy taking on Seth Rollins. Rollins is out first. Murphy comes out with the whole Mysterio family. I'm like, I didn't like that. I'm like, Murphy don't need the Mysterio family. Okay, I'm like, why do we got to keep egging this shit on? So then, as soon as he gets to the apron, Rollins knocks him down. Then they finally get back in there. He starts scrapping. But then Rollins starts to go for a kendo stick. Mysterio grabs a kendo stick from him cheating. Then he beats down Mysterio. Here comes Dominic. He beats down Dominic. He tired of all this crap. Murphy comes and then tries to get on the top rope. But Rollins pushes him off. He falls backwards to the barricade. That's a spot that him and Mustafa Ali like to do a lot. And then he comes about to march over to Aaliyah as she like does the whole scared and she falls down and stuff like that. And I'm like, no. But then the match continues on, and we're on the apron, and there's Murphy starts to fight back and gives Rollins a stiff knee on the apron, which it would look really cool. And then as Murphy trying to come back in, Rollins gives him a curb stomp. And he goes for the pin, but Murphy puts his foot on the bottom rope, so that was cool. Of course, Rollins hits his trademark superplex Falcon Arrow combination, and then Murphy kicks out of that. It's been a good matchup by these two so far, and like I said, I still don't like the dynamic of the Mysterio family being necessarily on the outside, but Murphy starts fighting back and giving knees to Seth Rollins, and then Rollins tries to go for a stomp again, but then as he goes for a stomp, he gets caught, and he catches his arm, and it puts him in the Murphy's Law, and wins the matchup. So Murphy beats Seth Rollins. This whole thing is finally over, and once again, Seth Rollins lost to Mysterio, and then lost to Murphy, but yeah, I'm going to Survivor Series. Like Murphy, this should have probably been like, I'll put my spot on the line, and he can go be with Becky Lynch even sooner, but no, now he's going to be on the Survivor Series team. And now, after somebody's come off of 2 straight losses to a Mysterio family, I don't expect him to do much of anything in a Survivor Series matchup. That's just me personally. They're putting him on there basically for star power and just to, beef up the team a little bit, I guess. Sasha Banks is out now to talk to Asuka. I guess it's to help to give them some build because Asuka's been cold. There has been no build for the women's match at Survivor Series. And on top of that, every week Sasha's been getting bitched and beat up by Carmella. So now they're here. Obviously they had a great rivalry over the summertime, and Sasha is kind of like making fun of Asuka a little bit, and Asuka says she ain't ready for Asuka. Then all of a sudden Carmella comes out. Asuka sit there and watch as Carmella beats up Sasha, puts her in the corner, and kicks her head into the ring post, lays her out for a little bit, and I'm like, it did nothing. It did nothing to me. It got me not. Am I excited to see Sasha versus Asuka? Not no more, because they did it to death in the summertime. Now, is it going to be a good match? Sure, but I'm saying, we've seen it so much already, and this whole Carmella thing, I'm like, this is the bridge to get Sasha to the Rumble, or to get past the Rumble, so they can work on a new feud. The whole Carmella thing, I see nothing much in there. And I'm like, Sasha, you keep getting distracted by Carmella. Like, don't let this happen at Survivor Series to me, because that kind of stuff I'm over. Main event time, Daniel Bryan takes on Jey Uso. Daniel Bryan is back, and now he wants revenge of how Jey Uso treated him. Good matchup, I will say that these two got some good chemistry together. We go to the outside. Daniel Bryan runs to the ropes and attacks Jey Uso on the outside, Suicida. And then as he is beating up Jey Uso, he launches at him, but Jey Uso gives him a shoulder back toss through the announce table. So that was a big spot right there. It rolls back in the ring. Daniel Bryan gets some hits back in that sets up for the running knee. As he runs into a super kick by Jey Uso, and then Jey Uso gets another super kick in the head. He goes up to the top to get the Uso splash, but Daniel gets the knees up and puts him in the yes lock, and now Jey Uso taps, and now Daniel Bryan wins cleanly against Jey Uso. So what does that mean? Does that mean a couple things could happen? Because honestly, with you really don't want your Survivor Series team kind of losing going into there. But once again, it had the Raw team lose the Retribution, and then y'all had Jey Uso lose and Seth Rollins lose. It could be a thing where Roman's so pissed at Jey Uso for losing clean, he can take him off the team, which can make room for Big E. Otis could get attacked, and then because I thought it was going to be like an Otis and Tucker thing, because I don't want Big E in no damn dual brand battle royal. Who gives a shit? And he can get in that way. Or Seth Rollins, who just lost a feud 2 matches in a row, could honestly forfeit it and put Murphy in there. I'm like, there's different possibilities of how I would set up the necessary team. But the one we got, I'm just not with it. King Corbin's just so there, it bothers me. So, but guys, that was SmackDown. A lot of things annoy me, but I mean, it wasn't a terrible episode of SmackDown, but I'm gonna give SmackDown like I'll put it in the. I'll give a thumbs down to SmackDown. I'm sorry. I know people may disagree with me out there, but I just wasn't. The Murphy match was great with Seth Rollins. The main event was great, but everything else was just seemed so forced. I'm really sorry about the Big E stuff, and it just bothers me. So But that's my opinion. Post that in the comments down below how you guys feel about SmackDown. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed my review. Hit the subscribe button for more WWE content right here on NC Studios. So once again, it's the NC place to be. Children Mr. A&D, and the Nerd Coalition is out.